Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to Opafet Gaming. I am the Opafet. Today we're driving a 1998 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution V GSR. We're driving it in a Evolution meeting race, meaning they're all evolutions. We're driving it at the Autodromo Nacional Monza track. We're doing 4 laps. We are one of 12 cars, and we started with a rolling start. Now these laps are decent length, but we're going to be going at a fairly good clip, so they're not going to take that long to do. So the best thing to do is to race up to the next guy, look for your opportunity, pass him, and then repeat. Now these cars, they're pretty zippy little cars to begin with, so they're going to be hard to pass. But on this particular track, there are a few places that are nice and straight and fairly decent in length, like the one coming up right after this corner, where you could always, if you're lucky, catch maybe 1 or 2 cars napping and you can get by them. Now this particular track, the Autodromo Nacional Monza, is one of my favorites because it has nice long straight stretches. Not just that, but it just is nice to drive. It has great flowing motion from one side of the track to the other, and lots of places where you can really let it rip. So that's kind of cool, and it's a different way of racing rather than having all those curves and corners. But you still got to go like crazy to be able to try and win the race. Now, 4 laps, and we got to beat 11 cars to get to the front, which to me is you got to pass almost 3 cars per lap. And of course, like normal, the Opafet was not paying attention and saw how many cars he already passed. I forgot to count them. So all we can do is go as hard as we can and continue to rip along until we hopefully are in the front or the race is over. Now we're into our 2nd lap already. So like I said, the laps aren't going to take long because of the speed that we're driving at. But boy, I tell you, this is a nice little car to drive. It really is smooth on the track. You do have to watch your corners and slow down for them. You don't have the optimal throttle power to rip by cars on the outside all the time like I just did. But a lot of times it's kind of tough. You have to watch and wait for your opportunity and wait for the car, a lot of times in corners, to slow down so you can zip by them. But that's just the name of the game. Usually what I'll do is I'll take the first lap out of a 4-lap race and kind of try to move up systematically in the pack, but at the same time take note of what the track is like, where the straight stretches are, where the best opportunities to pass are, and how other cars are going to drive, because that really affects you too. Sometimes they're really rough and they run into you, and sometimes they're really good and they all try to drive a nice clean race. But in Gran Turismo, it's usually pretty good. So basically it's the track. And the track, I take the first lap to get acquainted or reacquainted depending upon the situation. Now this track is one of my favorites, so I got it pretty well burned in my brain. I'll never forget this one. I see it at night when I sleep sometimes. But it's an awesome track. Like I said, it's nice and wide. You get lots of room to pass, you know. And you slow down for the corners, and it's just an awesome track to drive on. Now as we're coming around the corner, that's half the race gone, because we have now, as we come by the checkered flag here, well, there's not the checkered flag yet, but right here is the finish line. So that's two laps, and I'm not quite sure where we are in the front pack of the cars, but I'm not quite sure how many cars are left to pass. Now we see the one in front of us, the little silver car, but we can't see any in front of him. So we got to keep racing, get up close behind this guy, and pass him when we can. But try to look ahead to see if there's any other cars in front of him in the distance. If there is, then you'll know how much to push. to try and get ahead of this guy, but it doesn't look to be any other cars. So we're in really good position. I believe we're in second place, and we've only just started the third lap, so we got lots of time. But this car, every time when we get to a corner, he slows down a little bit, take the corners like normal. But then as he gets away from the corner, he zips away. So he's really hard to catch up to again. You know, and that's going to take, it's going to be a little bit of time before I get to him and pass him. Now the cars behind me are still pushing me. They're not far away. So you got to remember one thing. When you get to this position in the race, where you're first or second, you got to try and drive as clean a race as possible. Not just when you're in first place, but right now too, because if I, for instance, accidentally hit him and spin off the track and he keeps going, it won't matter much to me because there'll be 2 or 3 cars behind me that will pass me too, so I won't be anywhere near the front. And the closer you get to the end of the race, the more you got to pay attention to that. So the cleaner you should be, well, you should be driving clean anyhow. I find driving a clean race is more fun. Makes the driving for me become more of a fun part of the game. It makes the whole game more enjoyable. So we passed that little silver car, and this is the end of our third lap. We got 1 left to go. And what we're going to do, because we don't know if we're the front car or not, I think we are, but just in case, we're going to still push it a little, try and put a little bit of a separation gap between that little silver skyline that we passed and ourselves, and make a little bit of room so that we can slow down around these corners and take them a little bit easier and not put any unnecessary stress on the vehicle for spinning out or anything like that. And that's the way you gotta do it. Try and drive nice and clean, give it a little bit of a push so you stay ahead, and just wait for that checkered flag. In the meantime, you can enjoy the graphics, which are awesome. The gameplay is solid. Nice little car to drive, but you still got to be aware of the corners. Just overall a really good race. Very, very enjoyable. And I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these kinds of races, we'll be doing a lot more in the near future. And hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out. Anyhow, it was an awesome race. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time, you've been racing in VR with the OpaFed.